And first thing, draw your circle. Don't worry about making this perfect. When I draw circles, I just use really short strokes to get the shape, and then I darken it as I go on. Another trick is to draw, don't put your pencil on the paper, but draw a circle with your hand and look at the pencil. And once you see a pretty good circle, as your hand moves around, and you feel confident about your hand-eye coordination, you get closer and closer to the paper, and you just go for it. And then you can clean it up and darken it. So I'm gonna have 2 circles. You only need 1 because I'm going to show you an example. Okay, these are good enough for now. How are we going to make a circle into a sphere? We're going to turn one into a sphere by adding everything we just did up here, learning about shading, to one of these circles in order to make it pop. So by doing this, to do this, we need to add a light source. So I'm going to make my light source over here. Then I'm going to mark it with a little sun and an arrow. Now let me show you what really flat shading is going to do to the circle. So don't copy me for this. So I just did a quick little shading. You don't see this full scale, right? Do you see this range that we just made in this circle? No. It's one color. I basically just colored it. I didn't shade it. And then a little trick you can do is use your finger or a Q-tip or tissue and just blend it in if you like that look. But does that look like a sphere to you? It doesn't pop, right? And it's just flat, just on our paper. So this is not how to shade. So we're going to try to improve on this technique in order to use a whole range, your highlight, your dark tones, your midtones. This is our goal, to put all of this into our circle to create a sphere. So first thing is I'm actually going to start with the lighter values, making sure to keep some white right here because we need to highlight since our light source is over here. So light source is right there. This is going to be the lightest part of the circle. So I'm actually going to erase some of my sketched lines. And start adding like really light tones like the number 2 and 3 up here. And a little trick is to shade following the shape you're doing. So a circle curves, right? It's not flat, and I don't want it to be flat. So I'm going to shade in little curves. And for me personally, I like to put down a light layer of shading first before I really darken it. And I'm going to actually erase some of the edge right here because that was too harsh. Now that I am on what should be the darkest part of my circle, because it's furthest away from the light source, I'm going to go in with a heavier hand. Do you see how this is curved? I'm not just going like this, not just going in straight lines, not doing this. I am curving. I'm trying to darken this as much as I can with my number 2 pencil. Whoops. Okay. Do you see the difference between them so far? One looks a lot more 3D than the other. So now, when you're happy with the shading in your circle, you're going to add a cast shadow. So a cast shadow is this little shadow that is behind your object, and it's the furthest away from the light source. So when your light hits something, it's going to create another shadow. And when you do it, you want to foreshorten it, which basically means it's going to shrink. So let me go back to this example. When you are adding your cast shadow, you want it to still look rounded, a little rounded, but you don't want it to look like there is a circle behind it. Like this, if this was my cast shadow, does that look like the circle is sitting on a flat surface? No, because it looks like it's folded over, like this part is coming up along with the circle. But we want our circle to sit on a table or a flat surface. So what we're going to do instead is create a really thin ovular shape, and that is what it means to foreshorten. This shrunk, it got thinner. And the darkest part of your shadow will be the closest it is to the circle. And as it gets further away, the cast shadow will land. I'm going to lightly add a curve. There. And now we've just turned a circle into a sphere. So I want you to label your sphere. So let me go over some key words. So the lightest part of your object will always be the highlight. In order to get a full range of values, this is our value, you need midtones, which is in the middle. It's like the middle gray color. You want your midtones. You want your shadow or dark tones. Oops, that's not how you spell shadow. You can say shadow or dark tones, whatever makes sense to you. You want to include your cat's shadow as well. And that is how you shade accurately with a light source. So this is light source. This first thing we did is a value scale. And the little one is a gradient. Oops. Okay. Please rewatch if you need to go back to anything, and make sure you get all of this done. And then I would like to see it in your digital art sketchbook. Thank you.